Hey guys, I have had such a fun last few weeks with the movie Soul on Fire coming out and hearing all kinds of testimonials and people saying how excited they were to see the movie, and then also hearing all the different little individual reflections and things like that. And really, really cool that we've got Glen Henry on with us this week. So Glenn has got a new book that's coming out in the beginning of November, November 4th. Uh, and it's called Father Yourself First. And so some of the things that are in this book were also in the movie Soul on Fire. If you guys haven't seen it, get out and see it right away before it's not in theaters anymore. Uh, Glenn might not know what that movie is, but I'm sure we'll talk about a couple similarities. So, Glenn, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you for having me. And I have not seen that movie yet, but I'm definitely interested in hearing about it for sure.
Yes, yeah, yeah. We'll get into that in addition to your book. So, you're like a YouTube sensation, got all these Instagram channels and tons of followers and different things. It's amazing to see how you've blown up over the years and hadn't really been all that long. It's been quick.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. October 19th, yesterday, was actually the anniversary of our first video, 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's 10 years. I've been doing it since 2015. And it seems like a sensation, but it really is not it's not glamorous. It's
Right.
the I was a stay-at-home father, and I never when I stepped into being a stay-at-home father, my wife was like, "Yeah, I think you'd be great at this," and I was like, "Yeah, this seems boring, and I'm not gonna have anything to do, and it's just gonna suck." You know what I mean? It's gonna be too easy. And I was just like,
It's going to be too easy.
yeah. And all I gotta do is make waffles, hot dog, and then put on Sesame Street. I'll be fine. And like 3 days in, I'm like crying in the bathroom. My toddler's knocking on the door, and I'm just like, oh my God, where did I get myself into? I've never been emotionally exhausted to where like I think that they're just gonna chill, right? But I still have all these things I aspire to do throughout the day. Mind you, I'm working as a hip hop artist at the time too, so I'm traveling and doing music while being a stay-at-home father. It just was so much happening. And man, I would like to say that I apologize to all the women, stay-at-home parents out there who I just assumed everything was going to be easy and simple. I didn't know what I was talking about, and so I realized that there wasn't any information out there for dads. And I started documenting my story, and it just became. And I always show the bad too. Like I show the parts where I fail, right? Because the whole point is that like presence, right, is a gift, and so whether you're doing it wrong or you're doing it right, you are still doing it. And you have time to get it right if you're in the work.
Yeah, you've got kids of all ages. I love that little line, presence, CE,
Yeah.
Presence is a gift. And
Yeah.
it sure is. And I know for me and a lot of guys I talk to are like, sometimes it's hard to be like present and enjoying the moment, like
Oh yeah.
connected in the moment. So I'm sure you've had those times
Yes.
after you decided to become like a great dad and decided to be plugged in and be active and be engaged. And you probably felt guilty at some point for being like, oh, I'm just tired. I'm just not into whatever we're doing right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a normal part of everything. Like we always romanticize what the experience should be in our mind. We often think of everything as supposed to be this glamorous, like amazing opportunity. And sometimes it's just a metronome, keeping time, right? Brush your teeth, make sure you wash your face. Okay, you need to eat more vegetables. Like it's same thing over and over and over again. And the thing that's crazy to me is we've glamorized life so much that when it's boring, we think that something's wrong, right? When the scriptures tell us to live a quiet life, and the quietness of that life is the simplicity, taking time, doing the things right, just getting it right. Eating together, praying together, reading the Bible together, during traditions, whether they be around a holiday or throughout the week, date nights with the wife, date nights or date days with your children, spending individual time with them, connecting, like those things, because our society is so big on making like these huge moments, uh, Disney World, marriage, a baby, gender reveal. Like everything is such a big thing that, like, in the steady keeping time, like it looks like something is wrong, and it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. Getting it right is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so you bring that up like things are going along and we feel like because it's not sensational or that we're in routine that something's about to come crashing down on us, that anxiety. Have you like deeply felt that before, or have you seen other guys that have that anxiety feeling for no reason whatsoever?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Right. It can come from anything. It can come from, poverty mentality where you just think the other shoe's going to drop. There is a comparison, right? Is a thief of joy, right? So people will be looking
Hmm.
at someone else's life and being like, well, why didn't I get this, or why isn't it happening for me? And then they even try to spread that throughout the community, be like, yo, aren't you upset about this? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, not really. Like that's their journey. Yeah, a lot of men deal with that. I think even more so, like, we are just trying to make sure we're doing a good job being fathers and husbands without any blueprint, because fathers don't communicate well historically.
Historically.
Yes, historically, fathers, men don't tell the truth about what's happening on their mind. And I believe the reason why we don't is because we feel like the people around us are gonna fall apart if they hear us speak our mind.
So you didn't say men don't tell the truth. What you said was men don't express themselves, don't share the truth, like what's going on. So just clarifying that little point. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Like if I tell you, hey, I'm not doing well, if I tell my wife that, right, that can mean so many different things to her. But if I say, hey, please don't deploy me as a part of whatever mission you want to accomplish, I am not in a place where I can handle much pressure. Right. Those are two different things, right? Because sometimes she'll be like, hey, or anybody will say, hey, as a black father in the community, I need you to like touch base with this other black man, blah, 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 blah. And I go, well, though I do feel like that is something I can do at this current moment in time, I am not a part of your mission. If you have a heart for that, no matter what your color is, you need to go ahead and take responsibility for that. It's not my calling, right? If I can assist you on the way, sure. You know what I mean? But I'm not here to be deployed for your mission. Our missions may not be the same.
yes, yes. I we talked briefly before we started recording about our kids being in sports and stuff like that, and so a lot of dads have that all the way in common. Recently, I was in charge of a little softball program feeding into the high schools, and there was a certain dad who had a certain role that wasn't quite getting it, and a coach calls and says, "Hey, what are we going to do?"
Yeah.
And that was one of my questions was, here's how the conversation will sound. Who's the person and who can give it, who's skilled enough to deliver the message? I'm like, I'll volunteer. It's me. I go, and that was one of the things I said. I said, and I feel like I'm in a spot where I could do that right now.
Hmm.
I go, who else? Who are the other candidates? And even
Yeah.
though they're skilled, are they currently able? Are they currently like one of the persons was really emotional. It was like
Yeah.
they're heated up, angry about the situation. Like, yeah, it probably shouldn't be him right now. He
Yeah.
could, but not
Yeah.
right now, not today.
Right, exactly. Like and it's so interesting because we got to figure out like what our responsibilities are. You know what I mean? Like in the house and as a part of the family. I never sign up to do anything, but I'm always accomplishing something, right? So my wife will give me a to-do list. My kids will have their own agenda. I'll have my thing to do. But all of that gets hijacked with my position, right? So my position, let's say for instance, my responsibility is to protect the house, right? That's like one of the things I know that I'm responsible for doing. Uh,
Hmm.
I work from home, so I got to protect my space or whatever and keep my mind clear. But I had, everyone goes to sleep, everyone's down. The dog has to go out. There's a rattlesnake right in our front door, right at our front door, hissing, like, rattling. And I'm like, what in the heck? So because I lived on the farm before, I have like all the rattlesnake tools. I get my headlamp, put my phone around my neck, get my net, and I get my grabber. And I'm getting this thing, you know, wrangling it or whatever. And my night gets hijacked by this experience. And that's 100% fine. But oftentimes, you know, it feels like our jobs, like as men, like I don't think people understand how much they get hijacked by whatever mission, or like my overall mission is to protect the house. You know what I'm saying? Like I have things that I want to accomplish too. I need time to relax. But if something like that happens, I
Yeah.
have to action. You know what I mean? And so during that time, like I'll start to beat myself up about that. Like, dang man, like I had an agenda, like I had something to do, right? And now I'm trying to figure out whether I should kill this rattlesnake or relocate it. And then where the heck do I relocate a rattlesnake that is going to harm somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I have to like remind myself that like, hey, son, um, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. You have an opportunity to teach your children what to do, how to handle certain situations, that you don't freak out. And even if you do freak out, you do it scared anyway.
Yeah.
Uh, these are life lessons that they're going to remember and they're going to need. And so this is a gift, right? Um, and I often think sometimes like, oh man, I felt like a waste of time. But then I remind myself that nothing is wasted, right? Because something was accomplished. I learned something. The kids learned something. We learned something as a family. My wife feels more comfortable with me going out and buying the weird thing. When I bought the net and the grabber, she was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so foolish. Like, why are you always buying something?" You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yes. Yes.
now when we need it, she's like, "Oh my gosh, just go ahead, do whatever you got to do to make yourself feel." You know, um, because if I didn't have that, the thing is like, okay, well, what do I get? What do I use? Do I use a broom? Do I use a dustpan? You know what I'm saying? Am I trying to put it in the bag? I can get stung. I mean, I get bit or whatever. And so a lot of that is my internal dialogue, trying to remind myself that I'm in the right position wherever I am. You know?
So I want to jump into the book. Like you
Yeah.
say so many different fascinating things where I'm like, I want to jump into something, but I keep going, oh, let's get into the book. And
Yeah.
before we get into the book, how did it come about? Like where were you at in life? And then what switch flipped in your head where you decided to dive into this?
Well, like as a stay-at-home dad, there were so many gems I was getting just from my experience. How if I get on my knees and talk to my son, then he could hear me better than me standing above him and talking down to him. How
Mm,
I come home from tour, they run to my feet. And I'm like, that's so interesting. The father makes himself present and the children pursue the father. Like I didn't like I was getting these little things, these nuggets. And I was like, well, who am I gonna tell about this? Like who's gonna listen to me? And so my wife asked me a question that changed my life. And I'm gonna get to it because you asked me a specific question. I'm gonna
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah, yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
but it was like 11 o'clock at night. She goes, hey, what's your 5-year plan? And I'm trying to go to sleep. So I go, I don't know, whatever God has for us. Standard Christian answer, avoid, avoid. And she goes, I trust you in my family and my future. And you don't have 5 years planned out? Look,
Wow.
rolls over and goes to sleep. Now I'm stuck trying to figure out what the heck I need to do. Right? What's my 5-year plan? I don't know. So I go to a challenging buddy. Buddy in my house, oh, super nosy, always in my business, ask me tough questions. I go, okay. Hey man, my wife asked me what my 5-year plan is. He goes, what's your 5-year plan? I said, I don't know. That's why I'm here. He goes, what's your 10-year plan? I said, I have no idea. He goes, what's your 15-year plan? I said, I know I don't want to be rapping anymore. Traveling around the country at 45, talking about put your hands up. Right? He's like, okay, well, what do you want to be doing? I just blurted out, I want to be telling people how great it is to be a father. He goes, oh man, that's interesting. Well, who are these people you want to be talking to? I was like, I don't know. 15 years from now, they're probably middle schoolers. He's like, okay, well, where are they? Like, where are they? I said, they're in middle school. He said, no, where's their attention? He goes, oh, I was on the internet. I said,
Yeah.
oh, well, where at on it? I said, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, whatever. He goes,
Yeah.
how often do you need to post on those platforms? Oh no, he goes, how do you want to be speaking to these people? Like, how do you want to tell them about fatherhood? I was like, I want to write books and speak. He goes, okay, okay, you want to write books and speak. Okay, well, how often do you have to post on these platforms to grow your audience for 15 years in order to like make the money and tell the story you want to tell? I said, I don't know. So we looked it up. It was once a week on YouTube, twice a day on Twitter, once a day on Instagram. Like he's like, okay, so we work backwards. We do this 15 years, you'll be there. Right now, I'm 10 years into my 15-year plan. Right.
Mm.
Um, so I go, okay. 2 years later, I do a TED Talk. That TED Talk gets 1 million views. Right.
That's insane because TED Talks are, you can't just put your name in a hat and go to a TED Talk.
Right. It was a TEDx actually. That
Yeah. Yeah.
to TED. So um I wasn't even a very really great speaker. You know, it just happened to where I was in a position where I was like, oh, I want to be writing books to talk to these people and telling them how great it is to be a father. But first I have to get them to trust me so that I could gain the audience. So I'm not just gonna show the good stuff, I'm gonna show the bad stuff. I'm gonna show everything, right? Because there was so much of it that felt like you needed to be perfect, especially as a Christian.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah.
oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah. That's a whole nother
anything wrong,
added layer.
right? As a like a Christian man, like it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? Like I knew he wasn't it. I knew he was gonna be one of those. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to be perfect. But I was like, no, the whole thing is imperfection. Parenting is just failing forward. That's it. All we're doing is trying every day and trying better the next day. Like that's it. And so I knew that I never wanted to be a father until I saw proof of good fatherhood. When I saw this youth pastor let me come over his house, he had 5 daughters, and I got to see the harmony in his home.
Mm.
I said, "Oh, I could do that. I could do that." And then I became a father, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this is harmonious. I've never seen black life look like this. And if I've never seen it, I'm a black man. I know everybody else hasn't seen it, so I'm going to show the raw, uncut." My wife goes, if you're gonna turn the camera on, at least put my bra away in the background. Got it hanging on the door. And I'm like, it's authentic. If you didn't want the bra there, you should have put it away. I'm showing the real. She hated it when we first started.
I can imagine.
Yeah. And so basically the book was, man, I'm doing a decent job as a father, but my attributes need to go outside of fatherhood because people were like, oh my gosh, this is the most patient father in the world. And I'm like, who cares if I'm a patient father? I need to be a patient man. Like, I need that patience to
Hmm.
spread throughout my manhood. I need it to spread throughout my community. Who cares if anybody can be patient with a baby? But what happens when that
Well,
turns 15?
well,
Well, okay, okay, okay. Most people,
yeah,
because
yeah,
it's adorable,
right.
right? You can be patient and then you can at least smile and the baby will look cute. But when that baby turns 15, it's a
Yeah,
totally different story.
totally different.
And when that baby turns 21, when that baby turns 30, you're talking to that baby like it's a person on the street. No
Hmm.
patience. Nah, that characteristics that it doesn't have your characteristics don't have an expiration date. Okay. Your patience needs to last. Your kindness needs to last. Your gentleness needs to last. Your
Hmm.
self-control needs to
Self-control.
last. Okay. You know,
Yeah, these are the fruits of the spirits, guys, that we're
right.
talking about here. So if
Right.
you're looking through that list and feeling like you're lacking in one area, figure it out. Figure it
Well, there's
out.
grace for you there. So let's just say, if I can only be a joyful father, then I'm not joyful. I'm only joyful in my position. If you can only be a self controlled as you know uh, a coach, but you don't let that go into your marriage, then you got a problem. Okay. So I realized that I needed more than just growing myself, growing my children. I need to grow myself. And the problem is with that is that you end up fathering yourself and it feels like such it feels tough. And I'm gonna tell you when it feels tough. When you realize that your father wasn't fathered well either.
Hmm.
And now you gotta be a father to your father. You gotta be a
Yeah.
father to your mother. And that's when it gets real sticky. Because the attributes of a man are now going everywhere. And you're kind of like, why am I being, why am I being who I need, who I wanted to people who never gave me what I needed? Why am I get jealous of my dad that he has me. Cause I'm like, I needed that.
Right.
I would be so much further along if I had this. Now I have to be this to me and this to you and this to them. That ain't fair. So I realized there was some immaturity happening because I was getting upset about it. I was talking to my therapist. I was like, bro, I'm jealous of my dad. I'm jealous. He has me. I never had him like this. And then my therapist goes, who better than you? Right. So now I start to build the armor. Okay, I got it. I feel confident about where God has led me in the position I am in his life, in my children's life. But boy, do I need some time away. I need a break. And I then have to say, son, talking to me as God will talk to me, because I don't hear God's voice audibly much. I've heard it a few times, maybe twice. I hear the Holy Spirit, but I don't hear God's voice. And I have to say to me, son, you need a break. You need a rest. Today's a Sabbath for you. Don't do anything. Don't answer the phone. Don't work. Don't cook. Do nothing. Relax. Today's your day. Right. And my wife honors me in that. And so that's good.
So you were talking about your father not quite being the perfect father. None of us have the perfect father. Mine was pretty dang good, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Right.
Uh, but you also earlier used one of my favorite quotes: "Comparison is the thief of joy," or "Comparison is the thief of all joy."
Mm, yeah.
And I'm like, right there, comparison.
Mm-hmm.
My dad isn't what I wanted. Somebody else's dad was better. This, that, the other, and now we're putting ourselves in a space of, oh, pity me, and you know, I wish I coulda.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the situation was different. In that movie Soul on Fire, John O'Leary was a little boy, and his they portray his dad, and they just make his dad out to be the greatest dad ever. And he's like John, if you know aren't looking for what the coulda shoulda in life, and if you just love the life you have right now, that's the whole thing. That's it, son. I was like, oh man, that is the whole thing. If you can just appreciate the situation you're in and just love your current situation, you might strive to do things better. You might strive to get to where you want to go, but also like just have joy in the moment. I was like, oh man, so many of us need to hear that so often. I need to hear that so often. You talked about the spectacular and the society and the big deal. And we had something the other day and it was a big deal. And my family members were low key and like it wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I got anxious. I got frustrated. I might have been angry. My wife was like, "What's wrong with you?"
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not going the way I pictured it. Of course, as a man, I didn't have any words for her at that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be all right. We'll get
Yeah.
through it.
I'll figure it out.
Get through
Right.
what? I
Yeah.
don't know. I'll let you know later what it was. But right now, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think too, the whole point is that we some of us get to you were able to see the movie this weekend.
Yeah.
Um, and that was a blessing to you. And you could probably
Oh,
moment, right? Uh, but that exists inside of you as well, because you would never let your kids get to the point where they're comparing, you know, their vertical to someone else's vertical since they play volleyball.
Right, right.
Or
Yeah.
their strength to someone else's strength. Yeah, you got to get stronger, but not because of them, just because you're capable of getting stronger. Right. And
Yeah.
so in those moments when I'm having my pity party and I'm comparing or whatever, like, man, I really have to encourage myself. This book is just a big encouragement from a father. It's a big encouragement. We need encouragement.
We do. We absolutely do.
We need to encourage ourselves. We need to know how to adjust, right? You seen the movie Training Day? You ever seen that movie?
Seems like I did, but it's been a while.
Denzel Washington.
Denzel, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, crazy movie. Incredible. It was one of my favorite movies. But inside of myself, you know, growing up, my mom was abusive. She get upset, need a place to let it out. I'd be a little punching bag. At 9, started. My first real prayer to God was, please kill me.
Wow.
Kill me or kill her. Make up your mind. Why do we both live here? Obviously,
Wow.
she has a problem with me. Why would you put us both in a situation? You hate me. Kill me. That was my first prayer. Like, you, I don't know if you remember your first prayer, but I mean, I'm like, of course, I say grace. God is great. God
Yeah.
is. But the first time I went off script, I was asking him for him to take my life.
Wow.
So you massage those thoughts over and over in your brain. They don't go nowhere, right? That's demonic. They don't go nowhere. You massage that into your brain. By the time I'm 19, I'm ready to do it.
You're ready to kill yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
9 to 19, you just germinated thoughts of killing yourself and you sprinkled water on it and you tended it and you got the weeds out and made it perfect for you, even though
Mhm.
what you were growing was nothing but a big weed, a big wow.
And so the whole time I'm looking for reasons to stay alive and I couldn't find any.
Mm.
So now, mind you, not only was I massaging these thoughts into my brain, but my inner voice was like, yeah, do it. So my inner voice was, you're stupid. You can't do anything. The things my mom would say to me, those are the things that
Hmm.
those are the truths. You're a grudge holder. You don't forgive anybody, right? All types of names. So by the time I'm 19, I call my dad. It's one last desperate cry for help. Hey, I'm sitting on a freeway. I'm about to drive into the center divider. Oh, I just want to say goodbye. I'm looking for him to give me permission. All right. First time I heard him cry was then.
Oh,
You know, he goes, fly out, start over, start over. Just give it one last chance. You come sleep on, you can in my house, sleep on the floor, sleep on the couch, just start over. I accept it. I really, and I don't know who's determined to kill themselves and they call somebody. I mean, I was just crying out for help. This is right around this, August, though this was in the beginning of the summer, but I moved out August 31st, 2005. So 20 years ago, I moved to California from Baltimore, Maryland.
mm.
And I started over, slept on this floor, slept on the couch, started from scratch. And I realized that it wasn't our relationship. It was that one thing he gave me that was hope. But I realized, like, even right now, I am that for him. So even though I say, like, oh, I didn't have this, like, he has a better version of it that he was for me in just that moment. And
In
that
that
moment,
moment,
I cared
right
for him
when you needed it.
right when I needed it. Right. And so now I am that to him, to my children. Um, and it is very interesting. It's very interesting. Like, I fall in love with this, and I'm also like sometimes get a little grieved because it is such a heavy, it's such a heavy thing sometimes. And I have to remind myself that there's other men out there experiencing the same thing. And then I gotta go kick it with them. So in like the last chapter of the book, these are my people. It talks about building a community of fathers that just need, just a place to lean. I often like to compare life instead of balance to juggling, right? Um, with juggling, you toss up a ball, you catch a ball, you handle it, pass it to the next hand, whatever. Something's always falling, something's always rising, something always
Hmm.
held on to. Um, and with juggling, it's very quick, but sometimes in life, you're holding on to something for a while. Something's falling for a while. Something's being uplifted for a while, but you need men to catch hold and uplift you. You need
Yes.
not one person doesn't exist, doesn't do all things. You just need communities. Catch hold, uplift, catch hold, uplift, right?
It was funny. I had one of those days and I thought I'd call this guy. I'm like, well, I know he's busy right now. He's not going to take my call. This guy's not going to take my call at this exact moment. But man, I need somebody. I'll be darned if Facebook Messenger doesn't happen and somebody sends me some mundane, hey, can't go to the thing or whatever it was.
Mm,
I'm like, hey, you got 5 minutes? He's like, I do. I'll call you right now. He's like,
mm-hmm,
yeah, what's going on? I'm like, man, we don't even know each other that well. We know each other, but we don't know each other that well. But I know one thing. If I ask you to pray for me right now, I got a real good feeling that you're going to say yes.
mm-hmm,
And you're going to pray the right prayer and you're going to help me through this. He's like, I'm not sure why you picked me, but thank you. And yeah, what's going on? And I'll pray. And so I gave him a quick little
right.
15-second thing. And he
Yeah.
jumped. I'm like, man, that was a great prayer. And yeah, that was exactly what I needed.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why'd you pick me? I'm like, I didn't.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
picked all these other guys that I knew were busy. And why the timing of your message was exactly that. I'm like, I'll say God told you to shoot me a message at that second because that was the exact second where I needed help and didn't know where to turn.
yeah,
And he's like, well, I know how that works.
yeah,
And I'm glad that it worked out that way. I'm like, cool, man, that's all I need. He's like, you sure? I'm like, no, that was it. I just needed one other brother to go, hey man, I'm with you.
yeah. Amen. That's awesome. That's dope.
Yes.
You needed that, but it's a lot of people that they don't
Don't
got.
have that. Yes, yes.
They don't even know how to ask for that.
Well, that was like when you say don't know how to ask, 100%. Afraid. What's this other man gonna do? What's he gonna judge me? He's gonna think I'm weak. Just like when you spoke about your wife.
Yeah,
Hey, I can't run that mission right now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, not right now. Or no, I can't even run that mission ever. Like that one's outside of my, you know,
Exactly. That's not my calling, and I'll tell my wife exactly too. Hey, just want to let you know if you open this thing right here, it's a solo mission. I cannot help you. I cannot go with you. So just know before you open this relationship or you go back through this door, I can't, and you can't take our kids either.
yeah.
Only
So,
you.
and most of the time our wives speak things that are great into us, great wisdom, great, and
Mhm.
they help us get momentum and move forward. Occasionally, though, our wives might be emotional. Occasionally, my wives might come to us with something, and you got to go kill that guy. Eh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I
Right.
won't do that, And then you get, man, I was just so mad. I know you were.
Yeah.
I know you weren't actually asking that, but in the moment, whatever. I use that as a silly example, but sometimes that emotion can overtake us and we can think we're going to go attack back and that's where that self-control and fruits of the spirit are. It's like if I can't run it through that filter, sometimes a direct thing that changes the direction. That is kind. That is the kind thing to say is to help get somebody outside of evil thoughts or, what
Yeah.
have you. So that it doesn't mean you have to be nice all the time and timid and none of that stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. There are moments. My wife is so incredible in so many different ways and challenges me. Like the question she asks, you know,
yeah, what's your 5 year plan?
yeah, yeah. Like my 5 year plan, like those questions, she's so brilliant. Um, I don't obviously I don't think she understands what she's asking because once you open that, like, when we first got married, like it was like, how long you been married, Dan?
Oh gosh, it's been 22 years.
Okay.
We just had an anniversary. Got to add it.
Oh, nice, nice. So like the first 10 years of our marriage, it was all working on me. Man, just kind of like, what the heck are you doing? You don't have a career. You don't have this. We need to figure this out. I'm like, yeah, I don't got nothing going on. Whatever I'm down. Like I'm working on me. And then after a while, we started going to therapy, and I started like applying the things the therapist is saying. And then I'm kind of like, yeah, I pretty much accepted who I am, and I want to grow in different areas. But I need you to kind of get on board here with some other things. And then I started to kind of bend that mirror right back in her direction and just go, okay, now let's work on some of this stuff. And that's when it got challenging.
Oh yeah, this is probably the most common question guys have, maybe about marriage in general,
Mm.
is past the other stupid questions that guys ask, but when the real ones come, why won't she this? Why won't she that? Well, how can I help my wife along? Okay, now I'm making steps, but she's not coming with me. So I'm
Yeah.
fascinated to hear what your answer is.
Yeah, it was really tough, and it almost broke us. You know,
Yes.
like this is the point where I was like, she was like, "Hey, I want another baby," and I was like, "I would not have another child with you. I'm getting a vasectomy." Yeah, it's a wrap. I can't trust you. I don't know what your decisions are. We don't work well as a team. Biggest mistake I ever made was getting a vasectomy, but that's because I planned for her not to grow.
Mm,
I
mm.
planned not to do the work it is going to take to do it for her to grow. Um, such such an interesting season. So when I start to go to therapy and I start to work on all this stuff, I kept telling her, I said, hey, just so you know, the things you want in life and the things that we want to accomplish, it's going to require me to be a different person. And you have not met him yet, but I know he's coming. I got to move with less emotion. So I won't be able to handle a lot of the stuff you're complaining about right now. You know what I'm saying? And she's just kind of like, all right, well, fine. And then when it started to happen, and she didn't really like the outcome. So it would be like, hey, such and such's kid's birthday is today, and she's getting dedicated to the Lord, and we got to be there at 12. So just make sure you're ready. And I go, I got to work. I'm not going to that. And she's like, you don't, you're not going to show up for our friends? No, I'm not. No, I'm not going. I have to work. And she goes, see, you don't really care about people. Like this has nothing to do with how I care about people. I care about us. And I know that I love what I do and I want to keep it like that. And so I love you and I want you to be able to keep going to these things. So I can't go. And she didn't like that. And it was very difficult for us. It was very difficult. And so there was a point where um we just were at odds, man. We could not see it. She was investing, and I can say this because we've grown past this, and my wife is incredible, but she was investing in a village just in case I left her.
Hmm.
So she was sewing into the community just in case I got a wild hair or I found someone that another woman attractive, or I went, had some type of mental episode. Um, and she was preparing herself for that. So she was investing in the community. But I was like, I don't care nothing about what is on their schedule. I have my own mission. And so that's what I mean. Don't deploy me to show up to this thing. Don't tell me, what I'm saying? If you want to invest in that, that's a solo mission. I can't help you there. Um,
Where had it been important to her and she gave you, when she got the invite.
no, I didn't care. There's certain places because the thing is, in the community, this is how it was looking. We had, people in the military.
Hmm.
If they had to work and they were deployed and they were in Germany, then they were in Germany.
Right.
That's the end of the story. We had a guy there taking a bar exam, 8 hours a day. He had to study. He was studying. Everybody understood that. So Glenn is the entrepreneur. I look like I don't got nothing going on.
Right,
Of
right, right.
course you
Yes,
want
yes,
to show
yes.
up to this.
Yeah.
No, I can't. Consider me in the military. Consider me as taking the bar. Consider me as that. If
God, this was kind of you put your boundaries up.
I put my
Here's my boundaries, and then it sounded like at this time you were constantly being bombarded with people trying to chip away at your time that you had already carved out.
Yeah, but then it was like the expectation was that I would show up. I was that guy in the community where kind of like all the kids' uncle. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, I want to be also respected as an individual and a businessman trying to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. And so once we got to the root and we realized, oh, you're investing in this community because you think I'm going to leave you. Why would you think that? I have no record of being someone who's left you a hangnail. Like I'll do your feet. Anything, I'll twist your hair. Like I'll do anything for you, right? Um her experiences in life were telling her different than
Yes.
my
Yes. Yeah. 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 She had all this outside influence that she'd put into her own head, kind of like you for 10 years working on how to kill yourself or growing the
exactly.
courage to get all the way to
Yes.
finish the job.
Exactly. So our worlds kind of met there, and it got to the point where it didn't change for about 2 3 years, and I just was kind of like, it started to put me in jeopardy and then the kids in jeopardy. And I just was like, hey, I can't do this. And I started to pull up a wall. And it in the only way, because she was in therapy, I was in therapy, separate therapists. Both of our therapists were once our couples therapists, so they could correct the lie we were telling ourselves in our head.
Hmm.
He doesn't like people. Well, there's no record of that. He actually does this, and this. She doesn't believe in me. Well, didn't she do this, and this? Our therapists were on it. They weren't letting us get away with any of that negative talk. It wasn't until she got a mentor, a woman in her life who was able to check her behavior. That's when it changed. So my wife would go, hey, she'd go, Glenn doesn't look, let me give me a quick example. Sorry, give me 1 second. She would go like, yeah, you know, Glenn just doesn't want to be around my family and he doesn't trust me, you know. And she would goes, well, have you given him anything to trust him? You know what I'm saying? She goes,
Yeah.
Glenn doesn't want to work with me. He doesn't want to work with me. And she goes, well, yeah, well, why wouldn't he want to work with you? And she goes, well, he's probably still upset that I quit my job. She's like, you quit your job? Why'd you quit your job? Well, he asked me to work another year and so we can have insurance. And I chose not to because I had a daughter and I wasn't going to work anymore. She was like, wait, your husband asked you for help and you didn't help him? No wonder he doesn't want to work with you. And Yvette was able to see that. And so just like we need that, because I don't know, in my community, a guy would be like, man, you full of crap. They wouldn't say full of crap, but you know what they say.
Hmm.
Like, you don't really want that out of life. You're not living like it. My wife would even go, every time you leave to go on a tour, you turn me into a single mother. I don't want to live this life. So but I could take it because I grew up with an abusive mom. Not to say my wife or my friends are abusing me, but I could take tough talk because even though it hurt my feelings, I know they're trying not to break my heart. They're trying to hurt my feelings so they don't gotta break my heart. So the truth, I love it. But when I give it back, it's really hard to receive. So sometimes women, they need somebody in their life from an older perspective to say, you're putting too much pressure on that man. You're putting too much pressure on him.
Have you got any tips on how to find a mentor for your wife? It's funny. My wife stumbled into a person like that. So, Pam, thank you for stepping into our life completely by accident. But the time where you were close around my wife for years made a huge difference in her life. So, Thank you, God, for bringing Pam into our family. She is amazing.
Yeah, we so it happened. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't me. It was God.
Yes, that's what the way it was for us. My wife went to buy some Norwex.
Yeah. Okay. Some Norway. Explain that to me. What is that?
It's a like a cleaning cloth, like
Oh,
so you can not have chemicals in your home and like
yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna go hang out with who?
Yes. Right, right. So
The person who sold you a dish towel?
so my wife saw this lady on Instagram and was like, "Oh my gosh, I like if I could sit on your couch, I would ask you these questions." And she was like, "Well, come sit on my couch." And
Wow.
it happened just like that. And she's been the biggest blessing to me. Um, and it has changed our marriage. Uh, it made us connect more, and been it's been easier for me to love her. You know what I'm saying? To show up when she asked me to do something. And that's why I said the biggest mistake I made recently was getting a vasectomy because I didn't know my wife was going. I would love to have another baby with this woman.
Yeah.
I just didn't, I wasn't expecting her to grow. And man, if I could do it all over,
Mm,
I
mm.
probably have like 6, 7 kids. Right now we it's four, and it's a good number. But we often feel like someone's missing. But because I had no faith, bro. Like I had no faith that God was gonna grow my wife and grow both of us and bring the people we needed. I had no faith because I kept telling her, I was like, yo, you need new friends. Some of her friends, the way they would talk to their husbands, and then she'd come and talk to me like that, and I'm like, I know where that comes from. You need to get away from the people because you starting to talk to me crazy, and I don't do that well. It doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? Because of my mommy issues,
Hmm.
right? So I'm looking at her like my mom used to talk, like she used to snap at me like that all the time,
Yes, yes, yes.
right? And so I realized too, our inner childs are having a little battle and they're tussling with each other, and
Hmm.
we don't belong there, right? Somebody got to be an adult in the room. Um, but man, if I could go back and encourage myself as a father, I wish someone would have done this to me. Is I would say, don't make long term decisions under stressful circumstances. Don't make long term decisions under stressful circumstances. I was talking to it because I meet with black men every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. PST. Um, the group is called Becoming Good Fathers. It's a black men's meeting. And so one of the guys in the meeting goes, man, my girl's 7 months pregnant, and I don't think we're going to make it.
Mm.
She mean. She has a dietary issue, so she can't have no sweets. So she's even meaner.
Hmm.
I'm not, we are, I am ready to get out of here. And I had to tell him, hey, right now is probably not the best time to be making long-term decisions.
Hmm.
Emotional, her hormones are all over the place. The baby is literally sucking the nutrients out of her body, so she can't even really make the decisions she wants to make. She's all over the place. You are also all over the place because you're just reflecting what she's giving back to you. And you're trying to figure out how to, I was like, bring it all here. Saturday mornings, you could vent, you could curse, you could cry, you could scream, and we're gonna be here listening to you and being like, you got it, bro. It every week, right? This can be a fuel station,
Yeah.
essentially, where you can re-up and you can go out there and tackle the day. But it's not time for you to make these long-term decisions that can be detrimental to your life. Uh,
Yeah.
and I wish somebody had told me that when I was like, and because what happens is we all dealing with the same stuff because a lot of men don't stand up to their wives. They either like super masculine and
Yeah.
what do they call it? They chauvinistic,
Yes.
speaking down, or they're just kind of like, oh, she doesn't want me to go to that store, so I'll go to this store. Real passive, soft,
Hmm.
right? It's either
Hmm.
one or the other.
Hmm.
I'm like, I will give you anything you want, right? but don't talk to me like that. Are you crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
in the middle with it. You know what I mean? Because I still have self-respect. And so I wish a man would have told me, hey, bro, if you invest in her, it gets better. But you gotta be willing to put in the work. You have to do the work, right? And your work is patience. Love is patience. That's long suffering. That if you're suffering, it's long. It's long, bruh. It's gonna be longer than that. Think about how much time it's gonna take you, and then add 10 more to it, right? And out of nowhere, she's gonna shift, and you're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I have a completely new person I'm married to. This is fascinating. She's incredible. I didn't count for God to do His job. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
and that is worth it. Like, you got to count on God. He gonna show up right in the nick of time. Right in the nick of time. Just when I thought it was all over, He showed up, and He showed up through this woman. And this woman was is very important to my wife. And sometimes my wife is like, man, I need more of her. I'm like, man, they're out there. You got to do the work now because now you have proof, right? So we got to fight for that.
Yeah, in our case, our lady also went to church with us. So she was already in the community. We just had to have a way to connect with her. Little did we know, how we connected that she was going to be instrumental in change change the course of my wife's thoughts and directions and things like that. Uh, I was responsible at one point for also altering, just like your wife. Your wife says, "Hey, what's your 5-year plan?" You come back with, "Oh, YouTube."
Yeah.
I'm sure that went over well for a minute.
She just was like, well, as long as you got a plan, it's fine. She didn't care. She
Nice,
wanted
nice.
to know. If
You
I
heard
think,
you heard of Eric Thomas?
yeah, he's a friend of mine.
ET? Okay, I was like, chances are you might know him. So yeah,
I
ET.
mentioned him in the book. He's the guy. Well, I'll tell you a story about ET. Oh, were you gonna say something about ET?
I know ET too.
Okay.
I don't know him as well as you know him, but
So he has a house not far away from where I live.
okay.
Um, so we used to go on walks in the morning. So I'm like, hey man, every time I talk to an older black man, they don't tell me nothing. And I ask them what bumps are coming up in the road or turns that I don't know about that maybe I could get some
Yeah,
help.
yeah.
And he goes, man, I can't tell you what's coming up, but I would say this: don't forsake your sacred circle. Say there's a group of men you probably think that, and I talk about this in the book. Essentially, he told me to connect with the men in my life so that I would be able to have people to hold on to when those bumps came.
Mm-hmm.
And I mention him in the book because he came at a very pivotal time in my wife and I's life. Um, but yeah, man, absolutely. I know
Hmm.
he.
Super cool guy. Super cool guy. You're talking about you talking to the middle schoolers and high schoolers and telling them
Mhm.
about what it is to be a great dad and everything. And where do you reach him? And your buddy says, "Was that ET, by the way?"
No, that wasn't ET. That was
Okay. I only asked because I'm like, it's the same dang thing for his story.
no.
Of
You're right. You're right. E2 is is very inspirational and important. But the craziest thing is about ET is that he is exactly who he says he is. Like when you get close to him, because I've been to his house, I've met his wife, I've met his children, I see how he moves. He's exactly who he says he is. Hey man, I can't talk to you at 4. We got to meet up at 6 because I have prayer group. I meet with the church and we all pray for the people in the church. Like his schedule is exactly what he says. He is no joke.
mm,
I dream to be a man of that much integrity. You know what I'm saying? At that age.
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. The number of times where I've interacted with him, one of the thing, well, the YouTube thing, real quick. He goes to his wife and says, "Hey, honey, YouTube, that's my plan." She
Yeah.
says, "Oh, where'd this come from?" God told me. Our God, my God? I don't think my God.
Yeah.
And she's like, "What kind of benefits this thing? Like, how's the pay?" Well, the pay is nothing. Well, how's
Mm,
the benefits? Those must be phenomenal. I'm pregnant, you know. No,
mm,
no, there's no benefits.
yeah.
Are you sure our God said that?
Yeah.
And then fast forward and yeah, he's doing okay now. She's just fine with his YouTube plan.
Yeah, he's doing incredible.
And so my buddy was with me. We're talking to Eric and he's like, "Hey, my kid loves you." He's like, "Your kid loves me. Like, tell me about that." And he goes, "Him and all of his friends at lunchtime watch Eric Thomas on YouTube."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, no way, that's cool." And the thing Eric did then next was he says, "Hey, what's," instead of being kind of idolized and worshipped, he spins the table and says, "Hey, what's your kid's name, man?
Yeah.
What grade your kid in?" That's great. Who's he hang out with? Like, how are his friends? Friends are good. Like they're all into you and I like your message. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's great. Could I borrow your phone?" He spins his phone, delivers a personal message for his child, his son, and
Mm-hmm.
speaks into his life and gives him some real long-standing truth. And I'm like, dude, that was the coolest thing ever.
Yes.
So now dad's a hero.
Mm-hmm.
Dad gets to come home with the video.
He did the
Eric,
same thing.
Eric's pretty cool, but it's all about, other people. And I thought that was really, really neat. So yeah, it's really cool that you guys know each other and live close and get to hang out on
Yeah.
occasion or often.
Yeah, yeah. He's an incredible individual. Um, I appreciate him. Um, and I hope a lot more people start to activate who they're called to be. You know what I mean? So that they can live out whatever it is God has for them.
So he
Uh,
was here in St. Louis. He uh, was speaking to a corporation or whatever, had a paying gig.
mm-hmm,
And Eric goes and does non-paying gigs wherever he's at. So he'll go speak to a high school or something for free, but then
mm-hmm.
go speak somewhere else and get paid.
Yep.
And he was at, I think it was Vashon High School here in St. Louis. And he's talking, he's doing his Eric time. Eric's very emotional, very passionate, he's almost yelling up front, like he's just rah, and screaming and whatnot. And he's checking this crowd out, and this crowd is unemotional, and more than half of them aren't paying any attention and getting up and excusing themselves, just like whatever. Like we're just not in class, and we're just glad not to be in class. Who cares what this old man's saying? And
Mm-hmm,
he just stops. He says, "All right, I'm about to get real with y'all," and literally goes off on the crowd.
mm,
Here I am doing this for free, and I'm helping you step up and get out, and instead you're disrespecting me. He's
mm-hmm,
like, "I'm going to go over," in his words, "I'm going to go over to the wide audience, and the wide audience is going to be taking notes.
mm-hmm,
They've already got money. I'm
mm,
here in the poorest of the poor doing my job for free.
mm-hmm,
I'm not doing that to be disrespected."
mm-hmm,
Anybody, then he goes on to say whatever he said about, I was like, holy cow. Well, that went viral, of course.
mm-hmm.
And I'm checking it out and I'm like, oh, wow, wow, wow. I'm like, wait, that was here in my town. That was yesterday.
Wow.
Like, oh, so yeah, super cool guy. So yeah, if you guys are ever down and out or need a little inspiration, go check out John O'Leary. He's what Soul on Fire was about, but also check out Eric Thomas. Eric Thomas is like, he'll lift your spirits. He'll lift your spirits. If you need a little pick me up, get you a shot of Eric Thomas, ET.
Hold on. So Soul on Fire came out when?
Like right now. Yeah, it's second weekend was this weekend.
So it's crazy. I knew I was on John's podcast.
No way.
Yeah, I just did John's podcast. It was the first podcast I did on this book tour.
No way. That's awesome.
I gotta go see this now. Oh my gosh, I gotta go see this because he told me his story that
Yes.
he was burned. He saw
Yeah.
fire in his house at 9.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
book came out, but I didn't know he did a movie as well. I gotta
Yeah.
check.
It just happened. It just got released. We filmed it about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
You filmed it?
I was involved.
Oh,
Yeah.
you were involved in the film.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the movie. My wife and kids are in the movie. We got to hang out with John Corbett and William H. Macy and Joel Courtney.
Let me hit up my brother, man. I gotta make sure that I tap in. So
Yeah.
so it's in theaters now.
Yeah. In theaters now. Yeah. All across the country, like 750 theaters across the country.
Yeah. Okay.
You were talking about getting down to fathers getting down to kids levels and talking to them on their level. And John Corbett is about 6'5", give or take. Big, huge star actor, been acting for like 40 years. And we were talking to him, and my little daughter, she just turned 12, and she sticks her finger up and she says, "You know what I like about you?" And he's like, "What's that?" "Whenever you talk to my mom, you get down to her level and like so you guys can talk to each other and hear each other and like connect. And I really like that about you. You get down to people and you talk to them."
Mm.
And the funny thing, this dude, humor is laughter is one of his big things. He loves to have fun. Oh, by the way, he's married to Bo Derek, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes. And he doesn't mention anything about that, but we all know. And he gets down on his knees to talk to my 12-year-old daughter eye to eye. And he says, "Oh, you really like it when people get down to other people's level and talk to them eye to eye?"
Oh,
And we're just dying laughing. And she's like, "Yes, you're doing it right now." So yeah, some of the greatest actors in this movie, and they were all so kind and loving and just had fun. And they also were like Eric Thomas. They were asking about us and wanting to connect on real issues instead of talking about their fame and celebrity and their, you know, uh, Felicity Huffman is William H. Macy's wife, and so he didn't show off. He was more interested. John O'Leary's like they're
Oh, I'm
interested
like,
in
people.
us, and we
Uh,
ask about them, they'll be interesting.
yes. Yes. I'm looking it up now because I'm like so fascinated by that. I didn't know that the movie just came out. And I knew he had wrote a book called Soul on Fire.
Yeah, yeah. The book's called On Fire,
On Fire,
but
right.
there was a low B movie, C movie that was a horror movie that came out called On Fire. Like, let's change the title.
Oh, okay, got it. Got it.
And
Yeah.
then the song's got a pretty good hook. And John O'Leary was like, "Hey, why don't we use the song too if we can?"
Yeah, Devon Franklin's in this. I've seen the promo.
Yes, yes. Devon is awesome. He was super cool to hang out with.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I seen the some of the promotion for this through Devon Franklin's Instagram.
Yes, yeah, yeah. He's not running around saying I was married to Megan Good.
Right, I know. I know. He's newly married now.
Yes, yes, yep, exactly, exactly.
Man, this is
Yeah,
all. I can't wait to
yeah.
check the movie though.
John O'Leary interviews him. You should listen to that one. And he talks about his divorce
Oh, okay.
and the things that led up to it and different things. He didn't get all that specific, but he talks about his healing. So, like Father Yourself First, he talks about how he had to heal and work through some issues that he personally had.
Mm,
He's like, of course, she had, when people get divorced, nobody's perfect. He goes, but through that, he had all these wounds that he had built up in himself and had to work through so that he could be a, not a hateful person. I don't know what his words were, but he was like, I didn't want that poison in me anymore.
yeah,
And the way he talked, I'm like, wow, he really does have some peace to this, some self-control, some patience. And he's like, I couldn't have done this however many years ago
yeah,
because I couldn't. Like that wasn't where I'd got to. So, but yeah,
yeah,
pretty cool how you know some of these different people as well.
yeah. I gotta take my kids. I gotta see if this film is like showing around this neighborhood because I would love to
It's
go.
unbelievable. You and your family will absolutely love it. And Devon, oh my gosh, my kid's favorite part of the movie is Devon's part.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, he plays the male nurse, Nurse Roy, and Nurse Roy is a fantastic character in the movie.
Oh man, I gotta see this because John was so kind to me. He was so kind. He read my book like immediately. He's such a good guy, and I really enjoyed our podcast together. So I really got to go check this out.
Well, I can't wait to dig that one up and go listen to it on John's podcast. John's podcast is phenomenal. Live Inspired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very gracious.
Yeah, well, once we get done recording here, if you want, record a little thing and I'll send it to
Okay, absolutely. Well, you can just send that little clip.
him.
You can just send that little clip I just said for sure.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I could just do that. Yep, I could just clip that little part off. Yeah, that'd be great.
Man.
Well, we always like to end the podcast out with a couple of things. If you got any added words of wisdom or anything you want to say to the audience, and then also plug your book, let people know when and where to get it, and all that type thing, how to connect with you, and then separate from that, a challenge to men, something they can do, challenge to the guys, something they can do week to week. Could be easy, could be hard, but something that helps them become a better person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so my name is Glen Henry, aka Beleaf, from the YouTube channel Beleaf in Fatherhood. And my first book, Father Yourself First, is available now for pre-order, out November 4th. Okay, this is really important. It's everything you need to become the father your family deserves, where I talk 6 principles to help fathers equip their families and love and lead them into eternity. One thing I want to leave you guys with as a challenge. I want you to understand a few things. Fatherhood is the most impactful role you will ever play because it ripples throughout time. How you parent will also influence how your children live life and how they parent and how they show up in society. And with that understanding, if you feel like that your home is a safe place, your home is a safe haven and a great place for people to kind of see the gifts about fatherhood, if your house has a sound and it is harmonious, don't be afraid to invite people in and show them and be the proof that you always needed. Okay. You do not have to be what you had. You can be more than that. And you will be proof for other people to be more than that as well. And so I would love for you to shine that light just a little bit brighter. Okay. Show that love, not just to the kids that God is giving you to steward, but also to their friends in the community because good homes change the community and good communities change our towns and good towns change our cities, and good cities change our states, and that will change our country and eventually change the world. So we have it now. We know that we are blessed to have this position as fathers. And I just want to encourage you to shine that light a little bit brighter.
So Glenn's gonna go see the movie Soul
Yep.
on Fire. That's a movie that's bright. It's on fire. Invite another family to go with your family. So maybe it's a family that isn't so harmonious that could use a little light, that could use a little influence, and that could be a way to connect with them and stay connected with them because there's some themes in the movie that you'll be able to continue to go back on. Glenn and I will be able to talk about Nurse Roy and Devon Franklin coming up after he sees the movie. But dude, you're gonna love it since you know Devon too. He
Yeah.
is he is so good at that movie.
Amen.
And November 4th, so we can pre-order now.
Yes. Pre order now, November 4th, coming right at you. Thank you. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm super stoked to have you. Look forward to having you back on. And yeah, it was a blast. It was a blast, and can't wait for your book to come out and for you just to keep doing what you're doing because the world does need somebody and many people, including those of us that don't have a podcast, that don't have a movie, but to be the individual, to be the family leader, to, as you said, live and lead your family to eternity and invite others into your space so they can see it too, just like that family did for Glenn when
Hmm.
he saw that pastor with 5 daughters and said, huh, I can do that. I can do that.
Yes.
So, all right. God bless you guys. God bless you, Glenn. Thanks so much for listening. And look forward to catching you guys again next week. And in the meantime, click that pre order button on Father Yourself First. See you guys later.
Peace.